Right. So you know the reclaimer, the white ready ship in the game, large, the really big sort of salvage ship.
Massive
Guess how
one.
much that costs
How much?
standalone? 400. 2/3 the price of a Liberator, and I feel like you're getting more for your money with that. And no one would say that the Reclaimer is a small ship.
No, it's not. It's a massive. It's a nice ship as well. Oh, one thing that annoyed me about the launch of IAE, and that's only because they messed up.
Oh god.
Do you know when they started putting the links on the website? Was anybody on the website as the actual timer finished?
I think
the Sparta appeared, the Expo appeared, the Anvil Day appeared, the Redeemer appeared, and something else appeared.
Yeah, and then the Redeemer got taken down like a minute afterwards.
Yeah, you clicked onto it, and it worked, and then I ended up like wanting to sort of part of it, and then it went straight back to the sort of terminal comms link page again. It's like, damn it! It's like that is literally the ship I want.
Should have just clicked through and gone to buy.
Yeah. We should have just
read it later. Read it later. Don't care.
I should actually just went straight to the upgrade page, and then refreshed it every so often, and then had the 400 already highlighted. I waited for the Redeemer to appear, so click buy, done. Because I don't know why I've always loved the Redeemer since it was first done many years ago. Many years ago, it's changed from a dropship gunship to a gunship. Solo, I completely agree with your statement. You've only got, I think, 2 size 3s and 2 size 4s.
Size 4. I think it's just 2 size 4s.
No, they've also I got it confirmed because I've seen people use it and it's has more guns firing. I had it confirmed in I think one of the recent live shows. The front size 3 turrets will slave automatically to the pilot if no one's in it. So the little turret underneath it will slave to you instantly.
Well, you've got 2 remote twin size 3 turrets.
Yeah, but if no one's in it, the front one slaves to the pilot. So the pilot, when it fires 2 size 3s that are attached, and the 2 size 4s, I believe that it has as a standard. You've got 2 turrets with size 5s, and you do have 2 remote turrets with size 3s in, but the front remote turret with size 3s will slave to the pilot one if no other people are in it to control it. Because I've been watching people firing it. Yeah, I've been watching people fire it, and I'm like, why are they firing more? I keep thinking, is there more people in it? And then there was one of either the videos or the live, and there was a lady on talking about it, and she actually said about how they redid the Redeemer, and she said, what if you jump into the front and there's nobody in to control the front bottom size 3 turret, it will automatically slave to the pilot.
Well, so that makes it a little bit better. No.
I mean, it's not a solo ship, but apparently it's one of the ships that kind of fights above its weight class if it's fully manned. Because if it's fully manned, I mean...
So if it's fully manned, it would need, what, 4 people, correct?
I mean, if you don't care about...
2-man turrets, plus 1 other remote.
And if the front one... Yeah, if the front one can be slaved to the pilot anyway, then you'll have 1 on the reverse turret. But then, to be honest, the reverse turrets that you find in a lot of games are kind of like not that needed unless you're going to be in a massive wave firefight. So you could just have 3... Yeah.
Size 5s, that's where a lot of your DPS comes from.
So basically, you'd only need 3 people for it. 1 person in each of the size 5 turret and the pilot. The pilot can be facing something and have obviously the 2 size 3s and 2 size 4s facing. If you're attacking something like, for example, an Idris, both turrets will face forward. The big ones, they both can face forward. So you'd have
the pilot.
So the pilot would have 2 size 4s and 2 size 3s, and the 2 gunners would be in total bringing 4 size 5s to the same target.
Yeah, so
that's 4 5s.
Compared to the Constellation, which I think is a physically bigger ship.
It is.
Mostly because it has a big cargo bay. I think if you remove the cargo bay...
It's about the same size as the Redeemer.
Yeah, if you took out the cargo bay and then sort of shrunk down the rest of the constellation to make the proportions sort of.
And got rid of the
sense.
snub fighter bit, you basically look at a similar size. That's the whole reason why the constellation is so big. The whole middle part of that ship is empty.
Yeah. So so. I don't think it necessarily. I think it punches above its weight for its physical size.
Yeah.
But for the amount of crew you need, I don't think it punches much harder than a constellation. Because constellation, okay, you've got two. You're bringing 4 size 3 guns, 2 size 4s and 2 size 5s. So you're losing out 2 size 5s, but you gain 2 size 3s, and then but you also got in a bunch of missiles, and size 3 shields, and a size 2 quantum drive.
What's the Redeemer got anyway? Because apparently it's got.
It's got. Oh damn!
It's got.
Okay, now I take that back. Damn, the Redeemer's got 2 size 3 shields.
Yeah, because what also was said by the same. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for the follow, dude, and thanks for joining the org. What the show also said is when she was showing you around the ship, she said that this has got sort of extra large everything for its size, and when she was showing you the area that you can open and have a look, it did have 2 shield compartments. It's like, I do agree with you. Solo is probably not as good as maybe a constellation because you don't have as many guns, but if it has got a few people onto it, could probably take out a constellation a lot easier than a constellation could take it out.
Meanwhile, like, you just get someone in an iron going pew pew and it's dead.
Yeah, that's true. But we don't talk about that because they're designed for just a complete annihilation.
I fully appreciate. You can one-tap Gladiuses in the ion. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Those hurricanes aren't so much of an issue anymore, are they?
I think it takes like 3 hits. Because they're overly tanky for what they are. The Hurricane should not be as tanky as it is. Something wonky is going on with the hit point pool, or armor pool, or whatever. Yeah,
but then again, the Hurricane and... Sounds really weird, the Hurricane and the Ares are technically in the same weight bracket. They're both heavy fighters. The Hurricane, I keep forgetting, is classed as a heavy fighter.
Oh, that's because the 4 size 4 guns it has on the turret now.
That's brutal though, it is brutal.
That's insane.
It is.
Meanwhile, you got the Vanguard, which is a heavy fighter. It gets 1 size 5, and then 4 size 2s.
Yeah, the Vanguard just seems a bit pish the more I go into it. It's like
it's got power creeps.
Yeah. It's like the more they started adding to the game, certain vessels got left behind. Like, Constellation's one of the few vessels I feel that has managed to kind of survive time.
You mean the ship made by RSI, which is, the company that's named after Chris Roberts, who's the the guy who
literally
owns CIG. Yeah. That one didn't get packaged.
Suspect.
Same with the Aurora, which competes and price with the Mustang, but it's a much better ship than the Mustang in pretty much every way.
Yep.
Which is, again, also made by RSI. I'm sensing a pattern here.
But to be fair, the ship that the company that makes the Mustangs, the Nomad, I think that should be their flagship because it's a decent ship.
Yeah, when you consider like how much a package the Nomad is $50 in terms of ship price more than the Mustang, I believe.
But I also feel that you could use it properly. You could do delivery missions and some cargo missions and be more. It also seems to pack more of a punch.
3 size 3 is the same as a Gladius. And again, the Gladius can do all the way up to VHRTs. Okay, it takes a while to do a VHRT in the Gladius, but you can do it.
Yeah.
In the same way you can solo kill an Idris with the Ion. It takes a while, but you can do it. It does help though. Apparently, on the Idris Lomba answering missions, for some reason the Idris turrets don't always fire. So there are times you can just literally just sit there like 10 meters on the back of it and just keep on shooting it in the back.
Pop. You didn't get lost, Jack.
Huh?
By the way, did you?
There was too many doors. I couldn't be asked.
Yeah. Did you see some of the mock-ups to the Misk Odyssey?
Is isn't that going to be like a refining ship?
No, the Misk
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
That sounds more exploration.
Yeah, Misk Odyssey is going to be Misk's exploration ship. It is bigger than the Carrack.
Well, that's Mist's thing. Misks are usually very big and very industrial, but I think Misk doesn't do. It's like Misk is like Argo, right? It's like an Argo but prettier, right? I.e., they do industrial, but not quite as ugly.
Yeah.
But when you consider like Anvil and Aegis, who supply the military, part of the military thing is morale, so making it look cool or badass or terrifying. Ideally, all of the above.
Like, for example, the Nutcracker engines for the video. Dude, did you actually... Oh, that's good. Ignore me. Talking pish.
What?
I went downstairs and went, what do you mean the Spartan's not here? It is here. Then I realised that's a ballista.
Well, to be fair, I didn't see it downstairs.
Oh, yeah, no, it's right next to it. It's the other side of it.
Can you rent it?
I wonder if you can. Because like I said, they kept talking about everything should be rentable because this is... Yeah, it looks like it. Because it says it doesn't cost much, so you can rent the Spartan.
I just rented the Pisces for 0, but
Yeah.
how long?
48 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's underneath it. I forget about this place.
I didn't see that. I didn't see the underneath area.
Well, the underneath area also has the hologram room.
Okay.
Which
is the Liberator in the hologram room?
That's where I'm going now.
Can I rent a size 7 gun?
Yeah, it's just a size 7 gun. You carry it on your rock.
Yep.
That's why I now.
If you'd like value, you can buy
Oh, there it is.
Just don't lose it.
I didn't lose the gun. The game lost the gun.
See, that's why I now go. Do you know when you go into that main hall, there's those couple of stairwells that look like they go round some of the displays? I learnt from last time to go into them now because that's where the vehicles are underneath. And there is only one holographic display, and guess what it is?
The really small version of the Liberator that you can't really get any information from.
Nah, of course it is. But, I mean, I actually don't think
I was
it
kind of
looks
hoping
bad.
it would be on display so I could look around it.
Nah, it's not. Yeah, it's not available enough. I don't think they would do that.
Well, no, the A2 was on display, and that wasn't available.
But the A2 already has its chassis in game. It's not that much different.
Well, you say that, but in Drone City's Gone, they showed an image of the Liberator in a hangar, in game. So they've got something.
They could have at least put if they've just got the shell of it. It didn't even have to be inside. If they just got it physically.
Yeah, you could sort of get an idea because look at the like if you had the Liberator like where the Carrack was, say.
Yeah.
And you had a Gladiator.
If it fits because the Liberator's bigger than a Carrack, you might probably end up having to have the whole room.
Or however you decide to organise it, right? Or have like a new room where it's just a hall, like where all the Hornets are, but dedicated to just Liberator. Whatever you decide to do. Yeah, and then just have like,
well, I mean,
something like the Gladiator next to that. Okay, well, judging by the size of the Gladiator and the size of the Liberator, you could fit roughly that.
Well, I agree with you because if they can do this hologram, they can literally do a grey box version. You could have like a hall out the way that just has a grey box version of the ship, of a concept thing. Because I mean, this ship looks like it's going to be massive.
I think Jack has a question.
What's up?
I went up to a ship, the Hawk, clicked enter seat or something, and now I just have a black screen with your distance. I don't think I've crashed or anything, but...
Just,
just press...
Hold Y.
Hold Y, can you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, that worked.
The Hawk's not... The Hawk is basically... there's only 3 proper bounty hunter ships you're going to have to take with you. Eventually, and that is a Hawk will fit 1 person in. I think the Stalker fits maybe about 3 or 4 people in. And then you got the Cutlass Blue, which fits multiple people in. Also, the Idris has a prison deck on it. I remember seeing it, like a big area. So that's what it is.
It appeared out of nowhere. There's like no seat or anything.
It's a weird one. It's a really weird because the back of it's got this weird state. Actually, did you go into the sea or did you go into its status area? Because one side of it,
Resting himself.
yeah, one side of it's got a thing where you sit into it and you go up into the cockpit, and the other side of it is basically the cryo area for arresting somebody, which you can't really use right now. Oh wait a minute, let me go inside the spot. So yeah, so down underneath is just a massive liberator.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Genesis Star, and that's supposed to be on display apparently.
Well, I mean, you think about it. If you look right now, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 halls except for the main hall. You could have had that sitting in one of the other halls because the
Hall 4.
yeah,
It's ideal for it.
yeah, hall 4. You could literally have it just plonked in the middle of that. Because
Also, like, the animals like just seemed disappointing. Like there wasn't everything that was there is already in game, which is fine. I mean, if you want to make it flight ready, you can rent it off fully. No problems with that. But if you announced a new Anvil ship less than a month ago, come on.
yeah.
I posted a picture on Discord. I tagged you both in it. That's where I entered.
Yeah, no, that's the stasis pod area.
Yeah. Well, it surprised me because a seat came out of nowhere and sucked me in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you put the criminals.
Yeah, basically that's where you put the criminal and it sucked you straight back into it, and that's basically where on the opposite side of it, it's weird, you have to like click a hatch and the hatch opens and a chair comes down. It is a weird funky ship. It's actually not that bad a ship. It's got small guns on it, but it's got a lot of them, I believe.
And it's bloody fast.
So it's this really fast ship that has like, I don't know, 10, and it's exaggeration, like something like 6 or 7.
Like 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
And an EMP generator.
Yeah.
I still think that there'll probably be an area for quote-unquote bounty hunting where where you just kill them, because
I think that will move to mercenary stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe well, either be a mercenary but bounty hunting-esque as we know it now, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think like the Maltrox Islands and stuff, are you really gonna want to try and capture the guy who's stolen it? Or are you just gonna just kill just get that guy out of here?
Yeah,
there's going to be somewhere it's like you can have him alive, but dead.
Yeah, it could be a bonus thing. So say you get 100k for killing him, but you might get 50k extra if you bring him back. So it's for example,
then they can allow you to be able to deal critical damage to the ship without destroying it.
Well,
so if you target the power plant and the ship doesn't blow up, you've just taken out their power. They can't do anything.
But they're not going to add bounty hunting in properly until after. Remember, they're supposed to add it so when you're doing ship-on-ship combat, you spend most of your time disabling the ship rather than just going boom.
Yeah.
Bounty hunting cannot be added until that's in the game. Because what will happen is you'll disable the ship as much as possible, and then you'll go, and there's also going to be non-lethal weapons, so you'll be having some guns that will just, fire a pulse or something at you to drop you. Now this is one of the ships that I
Terrapin.
have the biggest conflict with. I love the way the Terrapin looks. I love the fact that it's supposed to be a heavily armoured ship. But it's one of those ships that is kind of pointless as well. Because it's literally designed to jump in before a fleet and then send a signal back saying it's safe.
To me, that looks like more of a dropship than the Valkyrie.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Valkyrie, to me, is the kind of... It's less of a dropship and more of a... how to put it? So...
It's a gun slash... I mean, this basically stole the dropship part of the Redeemer. Because of this ship, the Redeemer, there's no point of Redeemer being a gunship dropship like it was before. This ship is now the dropship with obviously a platform of weapons to try and protect, whereas the Redeemer then became the gunship.
And what I'm saying, like, if you compare it to modern military, right? The dropship is to get you into there, and and get you in there and be able to take a beating doing it. So that's like your APCs of military. That's you can take someone from a fight, but it'll get you there. Whereas the Valkyrie is it can get there, but also can provide some aerial support and can also carry vehicles. So that's like your Chinook. It's not really a drop ship. It's like it's a troop transport sort of thing.
But then I think you've got hoplites and the rest of that now, haven't you, for the Vanguard?
Yeah, but I think the capacity you can have in the hoplite is
Vetic.
if that's between the hoplite or the terrapin for getting me into somewhere, I'd want to take the terrapin.
But then it's just the problem is the Valkyrie and the M2 are on paper the bigger and little brother of each other. They both carry a vehicle. They both have capacity to fold troops into it. They're both armored, so they can sort of survive a sort of slightly hot drop. And that's what's so
But
weird.
the thing is, the Valkyrie you can possibly believe might be able to do it stealthily.
Yeah, it's also got more guns. Not as big, but it's got more cover fire around it.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even the doors can open, and you can have people on doors on like a sort of like a Black Hawk.
True, but the M2 can bring multiple tanks into the fight.
Yeah, you can't bring
Which
any
is
tank. But then the I feel the Valkyries are sort of things that will go down first and get people on the ground and start, securing a sort of landing zone, and then you would smash in your M2s. This is after the A2s have already bombed the shit out of the area. Your M2s would drop, and then shortly after that, your C2s would drop. By the time the M2s are dropped, you've got more troops, and you now have tanks on the ground. And so it's sort of that sort of thing. You'd start with an A2, then Valkyries, then the M2, and then the C2 is how I would do it.
I think if the C2 had if you want to go for more mod options, an option where you could sort of split the cargo deck into 2 levels for people, because it's totally enough to do it. It's like, okay, we want to bring in an entire battalion of troops. Okay, cool. Slap that floor in the middle of the C2. You've now got a bunch of troops ready to go.
But then what's the point in the M2, because the M2's got a whole area designed for carry troops.
Has it? I've not been inside the M2. So.
Oh right, but basically, do you know when you go upstairs, you got your living quarters and you got a kitchen area and stuff?
Yeah.
In the M2, the kitchen area is a drop area with lots of seats for troops and a small room attached to it, which is an armory, which has lots of areas to put your armor in, as well as your guns on the walls.
Yeah, but that's 10 troops. I mean, C2 or M2, because I believe the cargo deck is the same shape physically.
Yeah, I think that what they've done is the M2's supposed to carry less, and I think they've basically tried to pawn it off as because there's heavy armor on the M2, it's a weight issue. That's why you're not supposed to have as much.
Yeah, but physically it's the same size, which is fine. But even if you just said it was for the M2, it gives it the same physical dimensions. You can put it in the C2. What I mean is, it's just Starlift's version of, okay, we're now bringing in 100 troops into this battle. This little outpost ain't gonna do so well.
That'd be cool. That would be cool for sort of being modular. But then I know you don't want to hear it, but the Caterpillar is supposed to be incredibly modular, even though they've not announced any of it. What's stopping the Caterpillar, for example, having all them replaced with multiple troop seating? You could literally have a Caterpillar land after the C2s and M2s and Valkyries, and then have each of those pods open and have 10 on each side of it, so it's 20 per module and there's 4 modules.
Well, I think the thing with the Caterpillar, right, the only reason I give it grief is because the C2 exists, which is just a strictly better cargo ship.
Yeah.
I fully believe that the Caterpillar will probably, they'll both probably have modularity, but I feel like a Crusader module it'll be very good at what it does, but you have one design.
Yeah.
Whereas the Caterpillar, here's 20 options, and each of you can pick 4. They could be the 4 of the same, 2 of one, 2 of another, 3 of one of something else.
I wish they would start doing and not just for the Caterpillar. There's multiple ships that they're supposed to be modular, and they've kind of... The thing that they're doing at the moment, which I don't know if is good or bad, but there's a lot of new ships being announced and then very quickly going into the game within a certain amount of time. There's lots of old ships, some big, fair dues, you know, massive ships. Some ships that have been in the game since the start, or very, very basic ships, that kind of feels like they've been left behind.
I think part of that is because some of the older ship designs
Need to be reworked.
or reworked, but also they're for quote-unquote trades that don't exist, right? Because combat has always been in the game, adding in combat-focused ships, you know, okay, not necessarily the Redeemer, which is the reason you that well, sort of the Redeemer because that was reworked, but I appreciate it was originally an older design.
Well, that was
Like
done maybe by the
Ares
community,
Ion
wasn't
and
it?
Stuff like that. Yeah, and the Ares Ion and stuff like that. I was like, oh, great! It's a combat ship. Already exists. Get it in the game. Whereas things like the Genesis Starliner and salvage and you know big mining and stuff like that, like that's not really in the game yet.
Yeah, but I agree, but also they did put a whole range of ships in that are luxury liners that aren't really in the game either. You can't take VIPs around the place.
No, but they do look cool.
They do look cool, that's fine. But then with the Caterpillar, for example, and with the Tally, and to you know they've been in the game for ages, and they're all supposed to have modular, and they only kind of touch on the modularity of it. I understand like Endeavour's not being done yet because Endeavour's a massive ship potentially with a lot of mechanics that are not even in the game yet.
I think part of it is they're trying. Let's say that you have the Retaliator, and it comes as standard with the torpedo room module. Fine, cool, good enough. You then get the living quarter module, or whatever. The thing with the tail, right? Yeah. Bit of a tail. If you then swap it out, the game now has to figure out where am I going to put all the torpedoes, where am I going to put the module. Is it going to be floating in ether space? Is it going to go into hangar? Do you need a hangar? How do you equip it? And I think that's probably why they've probably done a lot of the design in terms of how it's going to look, and they've probably got all the artwork related stuff of it. They're now just figuring out how do you actually put it into the game in a way that doesn't break it. Well, that breaks as few things as possible. let me rephrase that very quickly.
Yeah.
I was going to say so it doesn't break anything. Then I was like, let's be a bit more realistic.
Well, I think there's also things in the game right now that technically... I'm trying to think of one. Isn't there stuff in the game right now that's technically two modular versions of themselves?